Brandon Prust scores!
Brandon Prust is squared off with one of the toughest customers in the game.
Here's a chance, they score! Brandon Prust!
Over the past 10 games, Montreal 3-6-1, Calgary 6-3-1, riding a 5-game win streak into the Bell Center tonight to take on the Montreal Canadiens right here on TSN. Let's start by introducing you to the starting netminder. Carey Price has allowed 2 goals in his last 3 starts with a record of 1-1 after that 4-game losing streak. And down at the other end, Reto Berra is the starter for the Calgary Flames. Kari Ramo is hurt, so Berra is going to be the guy for the foreseeable future, at least right up until the All-Olympic break.
And you look at Dale Weiss, his first game as a Montreal Canadien. Coming in, that's what Michel Therrien talked about. Him coming in, just playing his game, using his speed and size, physicality on the forecheck, and he also plays an irritable game. He'll drag these guys into a war.
25 years of age from Winnipeg. He was excited to play in this one tonight. The referees are Paul Dvorsky and Chris Rooney. Steve Bartlett and Michel Cormier are the linesmen, and we are underway here. In the starting lineup is Michael Camilleri for the Flames and René Bourque for the Canadiens. There's a look at the head coach.
Michel Therrien, as he talked this morning, what Weiss can bring to this lineup, and I like the emotion level that he plays with. This is a guy that when you have him on his game, everyone else gets involved.
Michel Therrien playing hurt tonight as well. He got dinged this morning at the morning skate. More on that in a moment as the Canadiens try to get it inside the Flames blue line. Calgary is not a very strong road team. They've lost 3 in a row on the road, but they are full of confidence right now after winning 5 straight all at home. Here's David Desharnais, winds and fires a shot that is blocked right in front of him by Ladislav Schmid, one of the top shot blockers in the NHL. He wears number 3. He's headed to Sochi. Sean Monahan, the fine-looking 19-year-old rookie, gets in the heads of Michael Camilleri in his first game back in Montreal since being traded away from the Canadiens to Calgary in that deal that brought René Bourque here to Montreal. PK Subban back in his own zone, over to his partner Georges, and then back again. There is Subban picking his way out of his own zone, trying to work against Michael Backlund, a guy who's come in red hot as well. 2 points in each of his last 4 games. Johnson banks it off the end boards. Nice little play there to Daniel Briere. Briere's got a couple of goals in his last 3, and he was set up nicely there. This is going to be icing against Calgary.
I like the play early on because you get set up, and there's a nice little play behind the net. Little bank play by Gionta, and then step out and jam away. Briere knows exactly what he wants to do. That's his go-to move. Short side shelf. Berra gets across and takes away that post side, but good creativity in the offensive zone by the Canadiens early on.
Ryan White in to take this offensive zone face-off. His last game was January 2nd. He was raring to go as well. He's on the line with Weiss and Michael Bonival. Weiss again wearing number 22. He and Ryan White are both Manitoba boys, and they've played minor hockey against each other since the age of 10. Here's White, winds and fires a shot in on Berra, who's forced to make a blocker save there. Now Weiss in behind the net, trying to get away from the check. There, Chris Butler comes up high for White. His shot off a stick into the glass. Weiss shoved down and behind the goal, gets a little help there from Bonival, centers it for White. His one-timer goes wide. Good pressure here by the Montreal 4th line. Up against McGrattan, Westgarth, and TJ Gagliotti, the 4th line for Calgary, and they've got their hands full right now. Talking this morning to both White and Weiss, they were both extremely excited to get into this one tonight, and you can tell from their opening shift as the crowd here gives them a hand. They're ready to go.
Developing chemistry.
Nathan Beaulieu puts that puck to open ice. Beaulieu, of course, is thrilled with the news of the trade of Rafael Diaz. It means he's here to stay for the foreseeable future. Called up in the middle of January. He's been pretty steady for Michel Therrien. That puck comes just outside the Montreal line. Sent back in. Off the stick of Schmid.
Calgary plays a safe, patient game. Canadians, if they can get good set breakouts, gains of the zone with some speed, can create chances.
There's a sharp angled shot handled by Price, and he will cover up. No rebound.
Ryan White coming back into the lineup infuses some energy, but the one thing that you do need to focus on is just getting pucks towards the net. Here, off the rush, terrific pass up, direct pucks towards the net, and then get open. And him and Weiss are going to develop some chemistry early on, but it's about finding your spot, finding your groove. That's what White's looking for.
Monahan playing on line with Camilleri and Joe Colborne, a former first-round draft pick of the Boston Bruins. He wears number 8. As Montreal goes back to work in the offensive zone. David Desharnais along with Gallagher and Max Pacioretty. Pacioretty, Montreal's leading goal scorer, with 23 on the season. Racing over to keep that puck in is Subban. He puts it down low, waiting for it to Pacioretty. One touch to Gallagher. He sends it out front, bouncing puck, and it comes free for the Flames. And Camilleri. Camilleri just got back into the lineup Saturday against the Minnesota Wild. He had been out of the lineup for 9 games with a concussion. Here's Chris Russell, a slick puck-moving defenseman stepping up. He's dangerous. Takes a shot, and that is blocked right in front. Michael Backlund gets it to Lee Stempniak. Stempniak, number 22 for the Flames, back to the line for Russell. Russell, who was a late scratch in the Saturday game for the Flames against Minnesota, back in there. Here's Backlund off the turnover, trying to feed it out in front, and Subban settles that down, and Montreal gets it out. Russell over to Chris Butler. And into the Canadian zone. And Stasiak try to meet it on the far boards, but instead it's taken away by the Montreal captain, Brian Gionta. He's up there with Thomas Plekanec, who's working against Butler. First to the puck, try to bank it off of there. Went off the back of the net. David Jones, number 54, with a long cross-ice pass up for Jiri Hudler. Hudler is Calgary's leading scorer. A lot of people are wondering why he was not named to the Czech Olympic team. Backing up now is TJ Brodie. Brodie puts that puck in off the stick of Matt Stajan, who just recently got a 4-year contract extension, playing his 700th game tonight. One touch pass to the center ice area was behind Weiss. His fourth line back out there for Michel Therrien. Brodie ball tries to turn the corner against Smead. Gets it to Weiss. Weiss in, and he couldn't get a shot away. That would be a nice way to introduce himself to the new fan base here, though. Goal on home ice. Douglas Murray gets a little help from Ryan White, and then he is hit hard down low there. And Brian McGrattan. Weiss played in that game against the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames on January 18th, or at least he did for 2 seconds.
2 seconds, and then exited with the rest of the group that were thrown out.
That much talked about now infamous meeting on a Saturday night. He was out there. He squared it. His partner was Blair Jones, who is no longer with the Flames. He's been sent back down to Abbotsford in the American Hockey League. Here's Stempniak now. Loose puck for him, and he shovels it far side for Chris Russell. Russell, a third-round pick of the Blue Jackets. In his first year with the Calgary Flames. With the St. Louis Blues, but they really like the acquisition of Chris Russell in Calgary. This team that's starting to rebuild, trying to get back into playoff contention. Not for this season, for the long haul.
He's a low-maintenance guy. Handles the puck very well. Not big, but offensively can help out.
Max Pacioretty battling for the puck along the side boards. Gallagher's there as well. Gets up, spins back, puts it back to the line for Markov. Across to Yemelin. His drive on the stick and wide of the mark. Now here comes Monahan. Monahan amongst the league leaders for rookies in the NHL, 11th in rookie scores, 3rd in goals. He's got 15 of them. He leads the Flames in that department.
And he's just going to continue to get better.
Here's Desharnais now out of the corner. Gets it back to Markov. He had his hands full with Monahan, and swiping at it there was Gallagher. Here's Brodie. Just floats this one down the ice. And back to get it is Markov.
Canadians doing a very good job of directing pucks towards the net. Their forecheck has been strong, but the Flames, their whole initiative is to keep everything to the outside on Red O'Bear. He's a very aggressive goaltender. He believes if he can see it, he stop it, obviously.
Take a quick break as that puck is shot up and out of play. No score here. Just about 8 minutes into the first period between the Flames and the Canadians. Welcome back. This is This Morning in Brossard of the Canadiens morning skate. That is Ryan White, who's just back into the lineup tonight. And watch what happens here as he's not paying attention. And he clips none other than his head coach, Michel Therrien. He dumped him, and there's Therrien, who's sore. And tonight, he is behind the bench with an upper body injury. It's legitimate, a rib injury. In fact, when he came out to face the media this morning, he said, guys, can we keep this brief tonight? He was very sore. And none other than Ryan White, a guy who just gets back into the lineup.
Not a way to endear yourself to the coach. You know, we don't want to have too much fun with it, but as a coach, it happens. You get hit with pucks out there, you run into players. There's just only a certain amount of ice out there, but heads up. And with Ryan White, certainly he's going to have to put some money on the board for that.
Well, his line has responded with a couple of good shifts, so as long as they keep doing that, I'm sure Therrien will be fine with it. Ryan White, who missed 14 games from Brandon, and Weiss is from Winnipeg. But he was very excited to get back in there, and he talked this morning to me about walking that fine line. Canadian fans know by now that sometimes he lets his emotions get him into the penalty box, and he says he's going to try to really manage that tonight.
And Therrien talks about that whistle-to-whistle toughness. That's what you want from him, but when you get engaged in the stuff after the whistle and it hurts your team, that's the stuff you have to steer away from. Ryan White, he treads that line. He plays in that gray area. As a coach, you want that, but you have to find a way to reel him in and make sure that it's effective for your team.
Face-off controlled by Montreal, but that is quickly chopped into the Canadiens bench. A little pushing and shoving between the two benches there. Over on the Flames bench, there is the bench boss there in his second season, Bob Hartley.
Bob Hartley's done a terrific job. We talked about it in the opening. This team on paper is not the most talented group, but he's getting the most out of them. And the message in the dressing room is outwork the opponent, allow things to happen. They play a pretty good defensive structured game. It's a lot different not having Mika Kiprusoff back there. You've got some guys still trying to establish themselves in net.
Stanley Cup champion with Colorado. Recently coached his 750th career game. Shots at 2-1 in favor of Montreal. There's been no shots by either team in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if we're going to see a 6-5, 7-6 tonight. Here's Stempniak. Stempniak drops it off. Michael Camilleri spins it into the corner. Stempniak back to Hudler. Hudler in behind the net for Stempniak. He's got Michael Backlund parked out in front, and Russell can't keep it in at the far point. This one rolls all the way down to Reto Berra. Now Bournival steps up and gets it inside the line. Into the corner goes Butler's first man there. He gets it over to Russell. Russell, long cross-ice pass up to McGrattan, got away from him, and it's back into the Calgary zone. Here's White now with some real moves, and Berra down, makes the save, and then reaches up on a dangerous rebound. Another drive by White into traffic. As Therrien once again goes to this fourth line, sensing something here. And then Westgard. To McGrattan, he centers it. The only man there is Bournival, and he shovels it outside the line. Back to get it is Smead, who is 5th in the NHL in block shots, 11th amongst NHL defensemen in hits. His first year as a Calgary Flame after a lot of years in Edmonton.
I was shocked that the Edmonton Oilers traded Smead. He's one of the only guys that played with some grit and determination for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's what they're missing up in Edmonton. Calgary plucks him from there.
He's probably a guy that doesn't get a lot of attention. Here's a turnover, and teed up for Gallagher, a one-timer that is blocked by the captain, Mark Giordano.
This fourth line has been terrific early on, especially Ryan White. He's getting opportunities, but the forecheck there, but Bournival helps turn that over. White looks for an option on the back door. Weiss is going hard to the net, but it's about creating havoc. Look at what Weiss is doing. He's engaged with Smeed in front, trying to create some space. White puts it towards the net. These guys are getting chances. That's how they're going to develop chemistry early on.
Ron White's last goal was last season, his only goal last season. January 27th of 2013 against the Devils, so it's been over a calendar year since he's lit the lamp. Number 17 is Lance Boma for the Flames, a player that Bob Hartley says is their most improved player. Missed pretty much all of last season with a knee injury that he suffered at the beginning of the season in the American League. He has battled his way back to an NHL spot, and Hartley loves him.
He should. He's a hard-working, honest player. I think he's slotted a little high, though, in the depth chart as far as second-line winger.
Matt Stason giving a bump along the near boards. Lars Eller comes in and takes the puck away and gets it to Georges. Back to Eller. And they'll reset from the back end. PK Subban, who's not piling up the points as he normally does. He's still amongst the league leaders in defensemen in scoring, but just 4 points in his last 14 games, a goal and 3 assists. Here's Bork now, being a guy needing some points. Spins it back for Eller. Eller puts it back in behind the net for Brandon Prust. Prust, the former Calgary Flame, sets it up for Bork in traffic. His shot doesn't go, and Stempniak skates it away. Into the line is Lee Stempniak for Hooter towards the net, and that one went off the stick of Yemlin, and Price had to be sharp on a redirect right in front of him.
Carey Price hasn't seen much. That's the thing, when you don't face a lot of shots, sometimes you tend to daydream back there. It's not like Calgary has been world beaters and creating a lot of chances.
Carey Price allowed just 2 goals in each of the last 2 games, both of them on the weekend, and the winning goal against Winnipeg, he will admit, was his fault. A puck handling mistake against the Jets in this end of the ice.
It happens. He's so strong handling the puck. His demeanor back there is terrific. Hey, make a mistake, ended up costing you 2 points, but he's gained them more than plenty points this year.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the mantra on the bench. Let's pick him up. Let's help him out here. He's done plenty of that for us over the last several seasons. Thomas Plekanec in over the line towards the net, off a stick and up and out of play. 7:39 to go in a scoreless first period on a Tuesday night in Montreal on TSN. Mike Camilleri and Reddy Bourque traded for one another January 12, 2012. With more, here's Jessica Rusnak.
Dave, Reddy Bourque said he wasn't caught too off guard when he found out he got traded to Montreal. The Calgary Flames were also playing that night, and he was driving to the rink and heard that Camilleri got pulled out of the game against the Bruins, and everyone suspected a trade. Now, Bourque wasn't playing that night because he was serving out his suspension for a hit on Nicholas Backstrom. He was just about to get on the exercise bike and watch some of the first period when a member of the organization came to see him and told him management wanted to speak to him. He said at that moment he knew he was heading to Montreal.
Yeah, Bourque may not have been surprised, but now that story is that infamous story about Mike Camilleri being traded during a game in Boston by Pierre Gauthier. Kari Ramo was part of that trade as well, and that's certainly a good piece going forward for the Flames, but the question is, will Michael Camilleri be a Flame for much longer? And by the way, that will be one of the topics addressed during the first intermission. We're going to have a sit-down interview with Jessica and Michael, so stay tuned for that.
Wouldn't that be the best situation? Only once in your lifetime. Say you have a bad shift and the coach knows that you've been traded. You pull him off and you say, you know what, go in the room. GM's waiting for you. He's got something to tell you. Only once in your lifetime, though.
You've been so bad in the first period, we can't wait any longer.
Exactly.
We can't wait.
We dusted you.
Which I'm sure wasn't the case. It was unique, but it wasn't that cold.
No.
Here's Brian Gionta now. Gionta comes in on a 3-game point streak. Briere's down low with him as well. 2 goals and an assist for the captain. Fighting for that puck there against Giordano. There's Briere with a shot into traffic. It reaches Plekanec. He puts it back in there. Trying to get his stick in the way was Gionta. And Giordano now. Speaking of hot, that guy comes in on a 9-game point streak. That's one of the longest streaks by a Flames defenseman in 20 years. You got to go back to names like McInnes and Suter for a streak like that.
I played with Giordano. quality person. And it was an easy transition to make him captain in the absence of Jerome McGinley.
Here's a look at the Eastern Conference standings coming into action tonight. The division leaders in the Atlantic, Boston, Tampa, and Toronto. Toronto's in action tonight. They're playing the Florida Panthers. Montreal does have a wild card spot right now with a 4-point cushion over Detroit and Philly, neither of whom are playing this evening, but it certainly change in the next week heading into that Olympic break.
What's amazing for me is the teams just outside that wild card. 5-6 teams that could legitimately make the playoffs there. This is going to be a dogfight right to the end.
Here comes Pacioretty now. Pacioretty stops up, took a shot, and then it's blocked right in front of him. Couldn't get it to the net. Down to make that block was Dennis Wideman. You're looking at the top 2 shot blocking teams in the NHL. Montreal's number 1, Calgary is number 2. Russell with a long pass, misses everybody, ends up with Markov. He quickly goes across to Desharnais. Pokes it up and over the glass and out of play.
Max Pacioretty with a terrific chance here. Head up the whole way. Dennis Wideman, the elongation, taking away the pass on the back door. Pacioretty tries to pull up at the last second and go short side shelf as he sees Red O'Bara go down and cheat towards that pass. And he's unable to because Wideman blocks that. But good heads-up play by Pacioretty, just unable to execute. You can see the thought process there as he tries to pull it from backhand to forehand because there is some daylight. That's one of the things that Red O'Bara has been known for early on in his NHL career is over-aggressiveness in the net, cheating. He's chasing that puck. He needs to slow his game down on the National Hockey League level.
A big tall guy at 6'4". This is his first season in North America. Do you think part of that issue you're talking about is a big ice, small ice thing?
It is. You're used to that type of game, an East-West game. And in the NHL, the smaller rink, and your thought process as a goaltender is just basically stop the puck, let everyone else worry about the back door. In Europe, they don't do that.
Red O'Bara was part of that Swiss run at the World Championship last spring in Stockholm, in which they won a silver medal, their first medal since 1953. He actually won the semifinal, shut out the USA, and then Sean Simpson, the head coach, gave the start in the gold medal game to Martin Gerber, and they lost to Sweden, but Bera was a big part of their run. There's a chance there that goes up and over the glove hand of Carey Price into the corner, to the line, and out. Smee back to get it. Shots are 3-2.
I don't see it going to be 40-40 at any point.
Yeah, it does. The Canadians have given up 35 in each of their last 3 games, but did not have that type of feel, at least to start this first period. TJ Gagliardi with the puck. A Calgary native who's had actually a tough homecoming for him in his first year as a Calgary Flame. He puts it into the zone. And Calgary trying to keep it there. Bouncing puck now. Here's Monahan with a quick release, and Price makes that save. Out of the corner they come to Camilleri, and he is dumped before he can take the shot. Michael Bonival hit him from behind.
So nice play by Bonival to close that gap as Camilleri's got a terrific shot. You get it off of that area, it's dangerous. Bonival closes off that chance.
Camilleri has missed some considerable stretches, still has 13 goals. Here's Butler now, takes it off his skate. He snaps a shot into traffic. Goes into the corner for Colborne. Joe Colborne in behind the net. They try to center it. Colborne comes up with it again. Was looking for Monahan, but a good back check there by Eller to get it up the boards to Prost. Pulled off the boards there by Camilleri up in the high slot. Gives it to Butler. His drive reaches the net, and Price makes the stop. Good shift here by the Flames. Into the corner. Eller again. I guess Monahan pushed it up the boards, but not out. Now here's Subban. Doesn't like what he sees, so he turns back and starts out from behind his own net. Here's Piqué. Up to Lars Eller. Eller comes in over the line. Almost danced in, but Russell puts it away. Now spins it back towards the net. Off the inboards, bet by Markov. Markov lost the handle, and Stempniak gets it outside the line, but it ends up back with Andrei Markov. Here's a turnover. Right in for Jiri Hudler. A dangerous chance there after Yemelin gave it away.
You have to be careful not to be sloppy in your own zone. That's where the Calgary Flames are opportunistic. And they can make you pay, but Canadians cannot get lulled to sleep by some sloppy play early on.
Couple of Russian defensemen who will be headed to their home country at the end of the week to compete in the Olympics. Had trouble on that last shift. Calgary dumps it back in there. Just over 3 minutes to go here in a very tentative first period. Not a lot of quality scoring chances, although 3 of them came for Calgary on their last shift to the Camilleri line. Here comes Stajan. Stajan down the right side. Fakes the shot, trying to go back for the late man Jones. David Jones. Along with Lance Boma. Boma back to the point as it's hit by Jones. He just missed on the stick side of Price. Bob Hartley telling me prior to the game that Jones is really starting to come on. The 29-year-old playing like a power forward that they need him to be.
He's had some success at the NHL level, but this has gone. It went south in Colorado. See if he can regain his form in Calgary.
He's battled eye infections the last couple of seasons, including this one. You're right, a career high 27 goals a couple of years ago in Denver. There's a big pillage along the end boards as Markov rubbed out Stempniak. DNA leads it for Pacioretty. He's got a head of steam, but the puck rolled off of his stick, and it's taken away by Brody. Here's Josh Georges now. Georges with all kinds of room as both teams were changing. Gets over center, jumps in. Berra out of his net. Crashing in there was Dale Weiss to finish his check on the Calgary captain, Giordano.
Canadians have been doing a good job of taking away that stretch pass. The problem is they have to protect the middle because that's where the Flames are trying to flush everything outside. You see a couple bobble pucks, it may create chances against if you're not sharp.
Calgary back in there. Here's Subban now. PK Subban with both fourth lines out on the ice. Spins back and then heads straight up the middle. Gagliardi's all twisted around and PK's going to turn back. Here's a pass up for Rennie Bourque. Bourque would love to get one tonight against his old team. Thinking he'd love to get one any night right about now.
He needs confidence.
Trying to cut it in the middle there. Puck is still bouncing around. Eller's looking for a pass. Is stopped in tight. That's a good save. Canadians contain. There's a drive into traffic. That hits Schmid in front, and he is slow to get up. Here's Prust to Eller. Eller to Bourque, and it's just out of his reach. Good flurry there for Montreal, and now it's skated away down the left side by Camilleri. His pass, misfires, turn back, down the right side comes Eller. Eller in, shoots, and Berra snaps that one out of the air with 32 seconds to go in the first period. Still no score at the Bell Center.
Type of careful plays that you have to have. And here, Price with the reverse. I know he gave away a goal against the Winnipeg Jets, but these are set plays. It's all about communication between the goaltender and the D. And when you call a reverse, you have to make sure and fan out as a defenseman to get there. So a lot of people will blame that on Carey Price. He has to own some of that, but also the defensemen have to get to their routes. They have to get to the area where they decide to get the pucks to. So that's communication, and a little breakdown there almost cost you a chance against.
9 giveaways by Montreal tonight. There's Subban with a rocket, missed high glove save on Berra as he whistled that one high and just over the top corner. Good face-off win there. There's a centering attempt for Jones. He tried to turn it center and could not. Stajan is waiting for the centering pass. Markov cuts it off, puts it up the boards for Thomas Plekanec. Time for one last rush. Up the ice he goes to the near boards. Plekanec can't find it. Swats it back. Here's Briere trying to find it in front, and he can't as time runs out on both teams, and we are scoreless after 20, Jamie.
Bouncing puck on Briere. You could tell he wanted to roll his wrist and try and get that to the net. You're aware as a player how much time is on the clock, and you're trying to force that to the net. Bad ice, obviously, right beside the net. Briere unable to get that puck on Reto Berra.
Well, here's what's coming up in our first intermission. As mentioned, Jessica Rusnak will sit down with Michael Camilleri and talk to him about his first return to Montreal. We've got Have Your Say with TSN's John Liu, and Jamie will have highlights and analysis. It's going to need a little time to find those. No score after 20. You're watching the Canadiens on TSN. Welcome back to the Bell Center. Here's a look at the first period summary. No goals. And the block shots heavily in favor of Calgary, 11-2. They block a lot of shots, second in the league behind the Canadiens, and there are the shots on goal. 5-4 in favor of Montreal. Jamie?
We talk about shot and block shots, but that's about zone time. That's about directing pucks to the front of the net. Canadiens, obviously with a heavily advantage in that period, but they got to find a way to get it to the net. Test Red O'Bara.
Ken Hitchcock, head coach of the St. Louis Blues, recently quoted as saying, well, if you're blocking shots, that means you don't have the puck.
That's a good point.
Here's a chance for Michael back into the high slot, and he just missed on the glove side for Price. As both teams pushing for that all-important first goal. So yeah, he says if you're blocking shots all the time, then you don't have the puck. And I don't know, I guess I'd rather be shooting it rather than blocking it. But here it is, Montreal still with a healthy lead over the Calgary Flames, and tonight 11-2 in favor of Calgary.
It's a thought process and a mentality that everyone has to be on the same page, which includes Carey Price, because a lot of times when you're blocking shots, that means you're in the lane. So it's about communication, taking the strong side or the short side so that he can cheat and look around that screen.
Montreal's record when scoring first is excellent, but right now here comes Calgary again the other way. They've had the first two shots towards the net in this second. Now that's shoveled out to center ice, quickly moved across to Gianta. Gianta finds the lane, and it's real with a slapper that just missed. He's on the loose puck, centers it, Gianta with a one-timer, and Berra comes up with an excellent stop on the Canadiens captain.
This is great puck movement here off the rush. Textbook 3-on-2, kick it back to the middle, direct it towards the net. Misses, but it's all about puck pursuit. Briere finds him right in the slot as he circles around. Gianta jams it towards the net, and that is what you need, is creating that offensive triangle. Gianta digs deep, but Berra has the answer.
Camilleri had his pocket picked there by Dale Weiss. And Brody from the backside for Calgary pushes it up the right wing boards, but breaking that up is Ryan White. Bouncing puck trying to get around Camilleri. Brody helps out, spins it around the near side. Here's Weiss now, winds and fires right on that. Got it, a barrel rebound too, and he was down to make the stop. By the way, an out-of-town update. Boston is up 3-1. On home ice against the Vancouver Canucks. The lone goal scored by the Canucks tonight by none other than Rafael Diaz. Weiss, the guy he was traded for, takes his shot, and Berra makes the save. So Diaz, who hadn't scored all season long, in fact, he hasn't scored since February 19th of last year, gets the goal for the Canucks, and they will be here at the Bell Center on Thursday night.
And Dale Weiss comes into this lineup. I like the work that this fourth line has done. And you look at the chemistry that they have. Nice little touchback play. Weiss just directs it towards the net. And that's what you're going to see. These guys have the ability around to work it, jam away. I think Weiss is going to be a terrific addition to the Montreal Canadiens long term.
His father's a longtime Canadiens fan, so he was thrilled about news of the trade. There's Giordano, puts it in on Price. He makes the stop and then has to hog that far post very closely to keep that puck out.
That's a tough play. When you're on your post, there is no margin for error whatsoever, because if he comes off any ever so slightly, there's some daylight. Guys will jam away, and just from the angle of it, and butting up against that post, it's a good strong play by Carey Price. That leg strength to hold that until the whistle blew.
His overall numbers took a bit of a beating during that downturn and that 4-game losing streak. He's now down to 10th in the league in save percentage, 16th in goals against. And you know what? They are reviewing that last play.
We didn't have a look from behind That's the danger of this, and that's why I talk about butting up against that post. I've had a couple goals that went in my career where it drops down, you try and squeeze it against the post, and all of a sudden it's over the line and maybe you drag it out. Beauty of instant replay is just multiple camera angles. We're going to see if this ends up being over the line or not.
Chris Rooney is on the headset down below us, and that was a late call to bring the referees over to the timing booth to get on the headset to find out whether or not this went in. We are looking for a good look right now to show you what they are looking at. And here's a look.
Thrown towards the net.
There you can see the puck.
Right on the line. Now, is there daylight? And that is the million-dollar question right here, as you do see a good look. But Carey Price, the presence of mind to know it's there.
There's no whites there, right? So
inconclusive. What the call on the ice stand?
Oh, that replay, which is great work by the boys downstairs, that is inconclusive because he puts down his right pad and we can't see if that puck keeps going.
And exactly. And now guys are jamming away. The intent of the whistle, at what point? That's why the call on the ice is so critical. If it comes back to a judgment and the ref on the ice says inconclusive, I called it no goal, you move on. But it's stressful as a goaltender, as you know, and you can see right now Carey Price and PK Subban having a chat about it. He's probably saying, Carey, what do you think? Carey's saying, you know what, I know what's out.
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the puck did not cross the goal line, no goal.
Well, there you go. And Price, who's never taken his eyes off the face-off circle to his left, he's like, why are we even looking at this?
Quit wasting my time. Standing around here facing 5 shots in a period. And now they're going to put him to sleep with one of these. But talk about just that post play alone. That is just good awareness by Carey Price. If he starts being overactive on that play, all of a sudden you knock it into your own net and we're talking about a 1-0 game.
Backlund wins that draw back to Dennis. Wideman drips a slapper that's knocked down by the blocker of Price. Stedniak puts it back into the corner. Here's Hudler. Jiri Hudler cycles it back for Backlund. The first round draft pick, 24th overall in 2007 is Michael Backlund. Here's Stedniak, high slot trying to cut in, and he was with the puck taken away from him by a sprawling Subban. Now back down the other end of the ice is Pacioretty trying to find Tierney breaking in late. He stays with the play, gets it down low over the stick there of Gallagher. Brendan Gallagher can't contain it. Here comes Brody. Brody, the smooth skating defenseman, although that is offside entering the zone.
Talked about earlier, Carey Price having the presence of mind, not being overactive on this play. That's what's impressive, because if you start moving your legs and panicking, the panic level alone can knock it into the net. But he's so calm and cool, and he knows that the puck is somewhere, and if you start flailing your legs or trying to keep it out, you knock it in. Smart play by Carey Price.
Well, Price's numbers, it's early in the month of February, but certainly January, everybody's numbers took a hit. And here's his goals against through the season. October, November was excellent. December, he creeped up a bit. And then January, it really took a beating there as the goals were flying past him. Even in some wins, he was allowing a lot of goals. But as mentioned, here in February, things have tightened up. Just 2 goals against in his last 3 starts, and that includes a shutout over the Carolina Hurricanes. Here's Eller, keeping that puck in, puts it back towards the net, gets past everybody, and into the corner. Poke free, and Eller's on it, in behind the Calgary goal. Skates away from Wideman, cycles it back. Prust is on the puck. And Thorpe up there as well, but Calgary pushed it up the boards and down the ice. Here's Price out of his net to keep it moving for Markov. Markov spins it around where it's met by Joe Colborne. Yemelin now to center for Brandon Prust. Prust, who started his career as a member of the Calgary Flames, the Calgary draft pick in 2004. Every team he's played for, he's won that unsung hero, gritty player. Every team's got a different name for it. He's won it for Calgary, for the Rangers, and for Montreal.
I call him a glue guy. He's the type of guy who brings emotion every night. Guys love playing with him. He stands up for his teammates. And that's what he does best. I think he had his greatest success with the Rangers. They shouldn't have let him go.
David Jones with a wrist shot. Well, there was about 16 million reasons why they let him go or whatever.
True.
He was targeted early. Gionta with a snapshot. Ryan Gionta, since he came to Montreal, has been a shooter. He doesn't shoot quite as often as he did in a couple of seasons. We're about to get our first penalty call of the game here. There were no power plays in the first, but there is one coming up for Calgary in a moment here as Montreal's taking the first penalty of the game. Extra attacker is on for the Flames. They're taking their sweet time coming into their own zone. Here's Hoover going to try and slug straight in the middle. Hoover drops it off. Quick shot. They got one away. Price makes the stop. And it's touched by Plekanec. And here comes the call. Roughing against Plekanec.
Gets involved physically.
2 minutes roughing.
That's the fine line because the Calgary Flames do play a tough game, and Montreal Canadiens standing up for themselves here. Little shot. Stajan tries to duck underneath it. Plekanec gets his hands up on it. You can see the ref right there, Chris Rooney, making the call. So Canadians are going to be short for 2 or less. See if this penalty kill can hold up.
Calgary's power play 0 for 8 in its last 3 games. They're tied for 26th overall. Penalty killing for Montreal. It's been steady all season. They are 3rd best in the National Hockey League. And they are perfect in their last 5 games. 20 power plays against them and 20 kills.
Canadians, we talk about, I like the fact that they clear 200 feet. That is the focus on it. But your goaltender has to be your best penalty kill. And here, puck over, hand over the glove in the face-off. And you know what? I'm not a fan of this. I have to be honest. I am not a fan of this ruling. Really don't think it factors too much in. You see Lars Eller trying to win a battle here. Sticks get tied up. Drops to his knee. He's just going to shovel it back so that they can get that 200-foot clear. Ref in good position. I think this is one of these useless penalties have added into the game. They don't bring too much to the dynamic.
So this is a full 5-on-3 for pretty much the full 2 minutes, a minute 59 to be exact. Here's Russell. He goes over to Giordano. Giordano's been hot with a stick and hot on the power play. He's got 6 power play goals. There's a shot that whistles over the shoulder of Price. Big chance here for the Flames over the scoring. Backlund with room. He's been hot as well. He gives it up to Hoover. One-timer right on. Off the blast from Giordano, and Price has got it.
Carey Price with a terrific save here from the one-timer by Giordano. But Douglas Murray with a good stick early on, taking away lanes. And it's very tough, obviously, with too many options on the back door. Murray just clears out of the way. And what happens is, you're going to see, that's what you need to do. Sticks in lanes. I know Douglas Murray takes a lot of heat around here, but this is where he needs to shine, because obviously he's not going to get points on the offensive side. So what he's brought to the table, this is where he makes his money. We'll see if he can hold up to the task, because 5-on-3, there's too many options. He needs to have that active stick like he just had.
That blast from Giordano is from their top power play goal scorer, as mentioned, with 6 of them. Seems to be an issue with the clock here. They're over the timing bench.
Well, there should have been a second in between penalties, and we showed the clock. It says 1:33. There should be 1:33 and 1:32 or 1:31. Probably have to tell both coaches about it, that it'll be corrected.
Backlund loses that draw to Preston. It's sent down the ice. One thing about Calgary's power play is they are prone to giving up short-handed goals. They've allowed 7 of them. Only 3 teams have allowed more in the NHL. Here's Giordano now at the far point. He puts it down into the corner for Camilleri. Giordano over to Chris Russell. Russell back to Giordano. One-timer that's blocked right in front by Murray, and he is stung. Here's Giordano again. Camilleri puts it in front, digging for it is Backlund, and he is surrounded by the Canadians. All 3 of them on the ice. 1 minute to go in the 5-on-3, and Murray is still limping around.
They should be limping around. You see Carey Price give him a little tap there, but Murray pays the price here. He gets in the lane, takes it, and he almost turns and gets in the back of that meaty part. He stays with it, shakes it off. He's a big house of a man. I think about 245, 250 pounds. You know he comes in, try and back things up physically, but you pay a price on the penalty kill.
And he stays out there?
Stay out?
Stays out there. Therrien loves it. Here's Giordano now, pulls that puck into the crowd, comes near side for Hudler. Hudler puts it in front, looking for a tip from Backlund, didn't get it. Corralled by Giordano. Over to Russell. Russell down to Hudler. Hudler back up top for Russell. They're going to set up that one-timer again. Here it comes. They pull it back. Giordano moves in. Snapshot. Knocked down by his own man, Backlund. Here's Camilleri now. Half a minute to go in the 5-on-3. Russell with a wrist shot. And Price with a glove save. Exactly 30 seconds to go in the 5-on-3.
Carey Price makes a terrific save, but you can see the 5-on-3, they start to shrink down a little bit as they're almost setting up, looking for that perfect shot. And the triangle for the Canadians, it's not moving. If anything, it's collapsing. And the Calgary Flames cannot get the shot that they want. Fired in, Carey Price with a nice glove save.
Only one change made by Therrien. He puts Gionta out to replace Price. Leaves Murray, and George is back there. Here comes TJ Brodie. Fresh personnel on the ice for Calgary. Brodie gets the puck back in the return feed from Jones. Now he gives it to Wideman. Wideman top of the circle, and his pass is going to drift outside the blue line. And now Gionta's trying to get away from Brodie, forces him back, and that will do it. Bell Center crowd on its feet for killing off the 5-on-3. Buchanan and Eller come back out onto the ice, but Calgary still has the puck in the offensive zone. Does it around, sending the pass. Goes off the skate of Georges, and here comes Gionta. Crowd loving it. Here comes Eller trying to get around Brodie. Into the corner, French legs under the penalty box, goes back to the line for Yellen. Yellen's wrist shot makes it through, and Berra makes the stop.
See if this kill will create some momentum for the Canadians. A huge 5-on-3.
There's a pass up to Pacioretty, and it rolled over a stick. Tries to center it, and it goes off the skate of David Desharnais. Penalty killing. It has been there all season long for the Canadians. It's been their one constant, and it comes up big again. Gallagher now tries to put it towards the net. Berra poked it right back dangerously out into play, but Calgary comes to center ice as this game's got some life now. Bouncing puck in front of the Montreal net, goes into the corner. Desharnais is on it, and now here comes Gallagher at center. He's got Pacioretty with him. Desharnais the late man, back to Pacioretty, broken up by Butler. Back in front, and Gallagher just tipped it wide. Subban steps up to try to keep that puck in, gets some help from Desharnais, but it rolls away from him back out to center. And this is icing against Montreal.
There's Douglas Murray, who needs the oxygen tank on the bench as he was out for the 5-on-3. Did a terrific job. But we don't see this too often. Very rare. Two guys coming out of the penalty box at the same time on that huge 5-on-3 kill by the Canadians. Let's see if that can infuse some life back into their game, because this has been a sleeper from both sides. Need to gain some momentum and get rolling here.
Ryan White comes out to take this face-off in the defensive zone against TJ Gagliardi. Gagliardi pulls it back. McCracken on the loose puck. Puts it into the corner, but White is there. Hangs it off the inboards. Nathan Beaulieu with a pass up to the blue line. Knocked out of the air there by Gallagher. Great hand-eye. Here's Kevin Westgarth. Westgarth, who was acquired just around New Year's by the Calgary Flames. Graduate of Princeton University. As that stop is made by Price. 11:26 to go, and we are still scoreless at the Bell Center in Montreal. You are watching the Canadians on TSN. On the Montreal bench, Josh Georges and Douglas Murray. I ask you, you don't see that very often, where two defensemen are left out for an entire 2-minute 5-on-3, do you?
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I mean, it's not an everyday occurrence, but the one thing that they did have the luxury of is Carey Price made a couple saves on there where he gobbled up the rebound. So you buy yourself 30, 40 seconds of real time to get that rest. That's where the fitness levels comes in. I talk about Douglas Murray, who's 250 pounds. That's a lot of recovery. And, you know, Georges, these guys are in premium shape. Georges eats up a lot of minutes, so I have no worry about him. But a guy like Douglas Murray, who's not known for his foot speed, and a situation where you're 5-on-3, that's where you start to worry in the waning seconds of that 5-on-3. If a guy's tired, maybe that opportunity comes and it costs you a goal.
Douglas Murray's in his 9th year. There's been a lot made about the fact that he's doesn't remind you of speed skater out there, but again, Therrien, if he didn't love him already, he'll love him even more after that. Penalty kill. There's a tip and thrown by Briere, and it gets in behind Berra dangerously out the other side as Gionta comes close again. Now it's Daniel Briere for Plekanec. Plekanec up the boards. Briere can't contain it, and it's pulled out by the Flames out to center and beyond. Yevlin to open ice. Hops off the stick of Gionta, who's quickly on it. Spins it in front. Briere with the tip, and he puts it wide. There's Gionta again. Check there by Chris Russell. And Butler is away to Backlund. Michael Backlund, who steps in over the line, got the overtime winner. One of his 2 goals on Saturday night against the Minnesota Wild. That was a beauty. Talk about hand-eye coordination. Knocked it out of midair. He was asked after the game if he was a baseball player. I don't know if that guy who asked it knows he's from Sweden. Known for a lot of sports, but not a lot of baseball players over there.
Or golf.
Here's Stajan. There's a couple of golfers.
Most of the Europeans I played with do not enjoy the sport of golf.
Maybe it's just you don't.
Yeah, that's true. I enjoy everything but the act of playing it. The camaraderie, sitting in the cart with a couple cold ones.
Okay. Who doesn't like that? Here comes Douglas Murray winding it up from behind his own net. Gives it up to Prust. Prust is over center ice and now into the Calgary zone. Dancing his way in before he's bounced off the puck there by Ladislav Schmid. Calgary quickly back the other way. Here's Gagliardi straight in the middle. A.J. Gagliardi into heavy traffic. That's poked free by the speedster Gallagher, who's racing down the right side. Gallagher in shoots. Berra makes the blocker save, and the rebound goes into the corner. Loose puck, Gallagher, slap pass into the corner. Bourque with a try. Rebound, Berra's down. Still he's break again, and Berra makes the save on René Bourque. A flurry of chances for the Canadiens, but we still have no score in Montreal.
Montreal Canadiens starting to get some chances here, and it's about putting pucks towards the net. None better than this one right here. Danny Briere with a terrific little redirection as it just slides out the other way. Gallagher off the rush, head of steam, good shot, far side, just wide, and then René Bourque with it on a tee, and he hits the side of the net, ends up getting the puck back and fires away, kind of fans on it. Symbolic of the season he's had right now, but at least you're getting some sustained pressure, creating some chances. You need to continue to do that. You're going to get on the scoreboard.
1 goal and 1 assist in Bourque's last 20 games. Of course, a former 20-goal scorer for the Calgary Flames in 3 straight seasons of 20 goals. Here's Calgary down the other end. They try to send it out in front. Camilleri got it towards the net. And Price down with another stop on Michael Camilleri.
Mike Camilleri, it's an interesting situation he's in because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Do you make the decision to sign him and have him be a mentor to some of these guys like Sean Monahan, help show them the way, help insulate them, or do you move him for an asset, let him try and win a Stanley Cup with an organization that needs some scoring depth? So personally, some huge situations and choices for him, as well as the Calgary Flames organization, and how to grow and get better.
The Olympic roster freeze starts on Friday and extends to February 24th, and then the trade deadline not too long after that, March 5th. Something's going to happen with Cavalier. It's going to happen soon. Here's something happening at 2-on-1 the other way, but that is offside of the line. And now look at this. Backlund and Plekanec. Plekanec wanted a piece of Backlund, who's pulled out of there, and now Plekanec has a fistful of somebody. I think that's Giordano. It is. You don't see Plekanec fight very often, but he was not happy on that last play.
Spirited player, but he gets involved with Michael Backlund, but he creates the turnover in the neutral zone. And then Backlund on the back check, they whack each other a little bit. Face full of gloves. Georges comes in. Giordano immediately goes after Plekanec after this play, but they start hacking and whacking, and Giordano, you can see him grab him right there from behind, and now everyone pairs off. The emotion level starting to creep up a little bit after I would say a pretty uneventful first period. Brian Burke would certainly like this, a little bit of truculence in his lineup, and Montreal Canadiens whistle to whistle, competing. Now after the whistle, a little extracurricular activity.
And the Canadiens are going to get a power play out of this. They send both Backlund and Plekanec to the box, and the extra 2 is going to Mark Giordano. So Montreal about to enjoy its first power play of the game here, and Hartley's wondering what the call is to his captain. One of the good things that Calgary's had going on in this 5-game win streak of theirs is that they've kept their penalty minutes down.
Yeah. Well, Mark Giordano earns that penalty, though. He comes in because if you look at it, Backlund and Plekanec, whether you like it or not, they're kind of squaring off. They're a little jousting here and there with the stick. Giordano comes in. Now it creates a pileup. And that's what happens. The ref often will come into the pile and take the first guy who created that, and that's Giordano.
Montreal's power play is colder than the weather here in February in Montreal. They're 0 for 25 in their last 8 home games. They haven't scored a power play goal at the Bell Center since December 17th against the Phoenix Coyotes. They had 2 of them that night. But they are stone cold with a man advantage, and now here comes Calgary short-handed. David Jones leading the rush down the ice. Up there with Lance Boma, who puts it around to open ice. Met by Butler, and Calgary happy to keep it down here. Whites, look at this. They've got the fourth line out there on this power play. Here's Dale Weiss. No, there is no power play now. So that was a misconduct. Our apologies here.
Yeah.
Thought it was an extra 2 going to Giordano. Here's Jones. Jones looking for that loose puck. Gagliardi in the corner. Meeting it there is Camilleri. He got it in tight for his teammate TJ Gagliardi. Puts it up and out of play.
TJ Gagliardi, he's a guy who you need more from. Calgary Flames have wanted more. He's been a guy that's kind of been in and out of the doghouse with Bob Hartley. Has some skill, has some irritability, but not the consistency in his game. He's a hometown boy. We expect more from him.
Nathan Beaulieu first to a puck in his own end. He gets it to Murray, and Murray's pass into the middle for Bork. It's a good one. Here's Bork. Trying to power in. Bork in there, and it rolled off his stick. And a good-looking rush by Rennie Bork, who's had some jump tonight, wouldn't you say?
He has had a little extra in his step. A nice pass through the seam. This is what Bork can do. The problem with Rennie Bork, and he leaves a lot of people frustrated because you see flashes like this, where he can use his size and his speed and his strength, and he has a good shot, but it's not consistent enough. And that's what's frustrating from a fan standpoint, an organization standpoint, and certainly from Rennie's standpoint too.
Here's Brody meeting it at the far point, puts it to open ice, and it's turned over to David Desharnais. He tries to find Pacioretty on the fly, but that is broken up. 7 minutes remaining here in the second period in a scoreless game. Look out, there's a bounce right for Calgary in front, and it rolled away there from Sean Monahan. Monahan, Calgary's leading goal scorer with 15 of them coming into action tonight. Bouncing puck, pulls it down. Monahan couldn't get a good shot away, and it rolls in on Price, and he will cover up.
Sean Monahan leading this team for the Calgary Flames in goal, and certainly the future is bright. But the one thing that concerns you is when you're an organization, you have a 19-year-old leading you in the way of scoring. You certainly know that the cupboards are a little bit bare, and you expect more from some of the guys who are getting paid a lot of money.
Here's Mark Giordano, who is out of the box now. He got 2 for roughing, as did Backlund. And Buchanan was hit for 2 for cross-checking and roughing. Here's TJ Brodie in behind the zone net. Here's David Jones up high. Here's Giordano, takes a shot, in traffic, loose pocket. Banging away there was Lance Boma. Off of the inboards, it goes into the corner. As Murray pushed it up and out, and this one rolls down the ice.
Certainly a good combination save by Carey Price on that play as he battled for the rebound. Just upright, takes away that lower part of the net, calm and cool. Doesn't chase that puck, allows it to come to him.
Reto Berra puts it up around the glass and back out to center. There's Dale Weiss for Georges. Now PK Subban, little backhand pass, finds the stick there of White, who puts it in deep. Round the boards it goes, was met by Weiss. Here's Bonibov in the corner, gets it back for Subban. Subban's shot weak and wide off of the inboards as Weiss is battling for position in front of Berra. And Calgary comes away with the puck. Speed up to Backlund and in. Shots are now 17-14. in favor of the Calgary Flames. Here's Bonivard. His wrist shot misses to mark, and it tips up out of play. And we will take a break. 5:04 to go as the Canadians and the Flames are deadlocked. As mentioned, the Calgary Flames come in on a 5-game win streak, and there's an interesting story behind their 5th win. Here's Jessica.
Dave, some people can get pretty superstitious when it comes to sports, and Bob Hartley, the head coach of the Calgary Flames, seems to be one of them. On Saturday, they were supposed to wear their 3rd jersey, but instead, Bob Hartley asked if they could go with their regular home jersey, seeing that the last 8 times they've worn that 3rd jersey, they lost all those 8 games. He got the okay from management, and the Flames went on to beat the Minnesota Wild in that game and picked up a perfect 5-0 record in their recent homestand.
You know, I don't actually mind those Calgary Flames 3rd jerseys. Apparently, they're not overly popular there. You know, you're from there.
They were always popular when I was kicking around there. It just depends.
Are they the new ones for this year? They kind of got the old style script, you know, the Calgary.
I like those. I actually like to look at them.
Well, whatever works. Meantime, Calgary trying to work on getting a goal here. There's Giordano with a hard rocket blast right in on Price, and he makes the save and covers up.
Carey Price has done a terrific job of not only being in position, but just in position for that second shot. He just makes it look easy, and that's the sign of a confident goaltender. You know, having that conversation, I chatted with him this morning briefly about just his comfort level in the net, mentally, how hard it is to play every night. Is he getting tired heading into this Olympic break? And he said, you know what, you just roll with it, keep going. He certainly is doing that.
And he will no doubt get the start on Thursday night against the Vancouver Canucks in what we anticipate will be a goaltending matchup between he and Roberto Luongo. And there's one other game for the Canadians prior to the Olympic break, and that is Saturday night in Raleigh against the Hurricanes. Here's Gianta, sharp angle shot, and Reto Berra swallows that up.
Ryan Gianta with a sharp angle shot, but that should be the mentality for the Montreal Canadiens, because Reto Berra is a guy that will be overactive on that first shot. Ends up gobbling up the rebound, but you can see Briere going to the net, Plekanec looking for that rebound. Smart play by Gianta, and then you get the offensive zone face-off. everything needs to funnel towards that net.
Puck is bouncing all over the place, all the way into the Montreal zone. There's Lars Eller back to get it. Eller, no points in his last 14 games. Back out to center. And Bourque has it again. Bourque comes near side looking for Eller. Eller just inside the line, leads him for Prust. Prust in his backhand, comes in. They score! In front, and it's Ronnie Bourque with the tip. And you could see him breathe a sigh of relief as he opens the scoring. 1-0 Montreal.
Terrific play. It all starts, PK Subban breaks it up at the far blue line. They kick it wide, but a nice little play by Prust to wait as Wideman goes down to try and take away that pass in the back door. But you can see Bourque, he wants that puck. He's going to the blue paint, stick on the ice, ends up hitting Berra, hitting him and going to the net as he looks to the skies. But that is something that you do need when you are struggling. Go to the net, good things will happen, the puck will hit you, it ends up hitting him and going into the open net. Canadians, for the short time, ahead 1-0.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a second goal that has been reviewed tonight. There was one down at the Montreal end, and this is going to be a quick review. It is a goal. There was no kicking motion. It did not hit his stick, hit his knee, and went in.
It should. I mean, it's the right play, but sometimes you just need that type of luck. You can see it hits Reto Berra's blocker, hits the left knee of Rennie Bourque, and goes in. But it was all about PK Subban turning it over at the far blue line. A good defensive play. Bourque kicks it wide. Little give and go play at the blue line with Brandon Prust. Head up the whole way. Prust stops, goes around. Dennis Wideman goes down, puts it to the net, and Rennie Bourque, the smile on his face because he scores a big goal.
Rennie Bourque with his 8th of the season, with the assists going to Prust and Eller at 16-15. Montreal gets the game's opening goal. Plekanec snaps his shot. And this one's put up the boards, but Gionta keeps it right in there. Russell pulls it away. Montreal is 23-3-2 when they score first this season.
A lot of that is having a great goaltender to defend that lead.
No matter how small, 1 goal, 2 goals. Well, he's got a 1-goal lead now. Here's Butler with a snapshot, missed on the glove side on Price. Camilleri puts it back to Chris Russell, gives it back to Camilleri. Here's Russell off his backhand to Butler. He was guarded there by Briere. Final 3 minutes now of this second period. Russell keeps it in, but not for long before it's knocked away from him by the Montreal captain, Gionta. Here's Russell, makes a move on White and then steps in. He takes a shot, blocker stopped by Price, and it rolls to the near side for Ryan White. White drops it off for Nathan Beaulieu, who sends that one in. That's Stajan back. Bonival had a loose puck there momentarily, but Stajan took it away from him. Now Weeks gets it to White. White dumps it back into the corner. Bonival on his horse to corral it. Uses body to angle off Russell as at the end of his long shift. White with a quick shot. There's another blast off of the end boards. A slap pass attempt by Markov, who gets it back. Across for Yevlin. Yevlin snaps it in there for Bonival. He keeps it moving. Good shift here once again by this 4th line. Here's Yevlin. Backhand pass to Bonival. Trying to feather it into the middle. They've got Calgary running around right now. Wideman now into the corner. Trying to create a little release here for the Calgary Flames to get him out of trouble. Well, Weiss comes back the other way. Weiss now trying to turn the corner. Looking for a man in front. He's got Desharnais off the bench. And his shot, one-timer, weak and wide. More pressure here from the Canadians. Subban keeps it in. Gets it to Pacioretty. Pacioretty back to Subban. Steps up. PK in. Down low. Out front. Loose puck. Down the save. Rebound by Subban. And he puts it up and over the net. What pressure. But it stays 1-0.
Terrific puck movement here by the Montreal Canadiens. And it all starts with PK Subban back at the point with a nifty little look-off play. Pacioretty gets it out front, as you can see. Subban with that little shake and bake, slides it to Pacioretty, and then Gallagher falling, puts it towards the net, and PK jumps up on the play, creating that odd man situation in front. Good save initially by Berra. PK wants to go up top underneath the bar, and he just misses a shot.
That's about a good solid minute at least of sustained pressure. Calgary perhaps a little fortunate to still have it just 1-0. That one goes off of Josh Georges to the far board, swatted in there in the backhand of Brody. Now 1 minute to go here in this second period. The lone goal scored by Ronnie Bourque, his 8th of the season. Pacioretty now racing after that loose puck. Brody gets there first. Pacioretty stays on the play and chops it free, but back down low in support is the veteran Lee Stempniak. Here comes Subban, skating away from Rudler. He was cut off, so he has to turn back. Now a long pass tipped in there by Bourque. Bourque in on Brody. Brody gets it to Giordano. Long pass up to Camilleri. He gets it to Colborne. Colborne drops it off. He hits to the front of the net. Now he's in behind there. That big wingspan of Joe Colborne, who's from Calgary. Still has his rookie status at 23 years of age. Here's Bourque now. Bounces that one up for Prest. He hammers that one off Giordano. And he's going to go get an ice pack immediately on that one as the second period comes to an end. 1 goal on the board here of the stick of Bourque.
You can see a little congregation at the end of the period here as Prust knows how much time is left on the clock. He wants to direct it towards the net, and he ends up hitting Giordano in the leg, who, like you said, he's heading in for an ice pack.
Well, here's what's coming up in our second intermission. We got a player interview from downstairs with Jessica. We will go in the box with Francois Gagnon from RDS. And, of course, Jamie McLennan will have his highlights and analysis of a tight one. Shots are dead even, 19 apiece. Well, the scoreboard says 1-0 for the Canadians, who are trying to go into the Olympic break this weekend on a roll. But they've got a battle on their hands against this team from the West. 1-0 after 2. Back in Montreal, here's a look at the second period scoring summary. Ronnie Bourque with his 8th goal of the season is the only goal of the game. And there you see the shots on goal dead even, 19 apiece as we are set to start this third period. Montreal first of 2 home games this week. Vancouver in here on Thursday, and then at Carolina on Saturday night. The Flames are starting a 3-game road trip to take them into the Olympic break after their 5-game homestand in which they won all 5. First time they've won 5 in a row at home since February of 1997, and 4 of those 5 wins were by 1 goal. So they've been playing in tight ones and getting it done. And this is a tight one, but let's see if the Canadians can hang on. That puck comes outside the line before Giordano was able to get it away, and the faceoff will come outside the line.
Mark Giordano's been a terrific captain this season for the Calgary Flames. Obviously injured earlier, but when you're on the radar for Team Canada, the understanding is if there's an injury for a left-handed defenseman, Giordano could get that call. But now, he's a guy I played with. He's a character guy, and it was an easy decision for the Calgary Flames when Jerome McGinley departed to give him the seat. He's very respected within the room.
Missed 18 games at the beginning of the season with a broken ankle that he suffered in late October, and boy, did they miss him.
Yeah, they do. We talk about leadership on and off the ice, but he's a tough guy to play against. There's
a centering pass, knocked down by Price, but kept in by the Flames. TJ Brodie momentarily, now he has to back up. TJ Brodie in his 4th year with Calgary, he's already set career highs in goals and points. Scored an overtime winner against the Chicago Blackhawks 1 week ago. But getting back to Mark Giordano, you look at what he has done the last 9 games. Comes in at a point streak that has seen him racking up the points with 4 goals and 6 assists. And 2 games over 30 minutes. His last goal, by the way, was a game-winning goal against the San Jose Sharks, and it was the 50th of his career.
Well, they missed him so much because you look at that time on ice. He eats up big minutes.
There's a shot by Markov into traffic. Rebound goes into the corner. Now the ice as Monahan dishes off, goes to the front of the net looking for the tip in the grill there of Carey Price. And now Gallagher has it. Cross-ice pass pulled out of the air by Deone. Gets it to Pacioretty, who knocks it into the corner. Chris Butler is back to get it. Butler, the former Buffalo Sabre, native of St. Louis. Kind of a quiet, underrated guy in this defensive core for the Calgary Flames as well.
Statistically, it's not beautiful for him, but he does a lot of good things. They really like him in Calgary. Up-and-coming, solid defenseman.
This Calgary Flames team has missed the playoffs the last 4 straight postseasons. They've not won a playoff round since they went to the Stanley Cup Final against Tampa Bay in 2004, a playoff run that you just missed as a member of the Flames, didn't you, buddy?
Yes, I was asked to leave town right at the deadline by Daryl Sutter.
Right at the deadline?
Yes.
Ouch.
But I was traded for Chris Simon, who was a big part of that run for the Calgary Flames, so I was happy for him.
He's not happy for you.
No.
Near side now, here comes Ryan White. You heard the comments of Francois Gagnon in the second intermission, and we heartily agree. This fourth line for Montreal has been quite solid. Bonival, White, and Dale Weiss in his first game as a Montreal Canadian. Here's White, who, by the way, 4 shots on net. That was a lot for him. And there's a tip, another one by White, and that one was a tricky one. Well, the NHL on TSN continues tomorrow with the Penguins heading to Buffalo to take on the Sabres. Live coverage gets underway at 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific on TSN 2. The Montreal Canadiens getting a little stingier in the goals against department after that 4-game losing streak. Just 5 goals against in their last 4 games, and only 4 in regulation. One of those goals came in overtime against Tampa Bay here on Saturday. Just 1 goal on the board here tonight.
The challenge is to get the goals 4 up. That's where they've been struggling as well. You can't rely on your goaltender every night.
Here's Giordano. Meets that puck. Thought about taking a shot. Now they move it back to Brody, who can fire it. There's a shot and a block there by Price. Rebound, loose puck. Stempniak got it away. And that either hit Price or a body in front, but it was close either way. Battle along the near boards. Eller is there, but the puck stays in there. Here's Hudler trying to get away from Georges. Gets help from Backlund. He centers it, and that is cleared by Bork. He banked it off the boards and sent Eller away. Eller was at the end of his shift, was out of gas. Just ended up turning it over to the captain for Calgary, Giordano.
Terrific play by Rennie Bork on the back door to break up that seam play. Or else there would have been a wide open chance for the Flames on the back door. Good heads-up play.
This one's rolled into the Canadiens' end. To your point about scoring for Montreal, 5-on-5 scoring's been a problem all season, but it's been better of late. Here comes Daniel Briere. He puts it into the corner. Here's Thomas Plekanec looking around against Stajan. He sends it around the boards where it's met by Yevlin. Yevlin comes outside the line, and everybody's got to get out. 9 of Montreal's last 10 goals have been 5-on-5, so that's a good stretch for them. They were 29th in 5-on-5 scoring in the league 1 week ago. They're up to 25th, so they've made...
Climbing the charts.
They're climbing up a little bit. They're well aware of it, that's for sure.
It's so imperative to score 5-on-5 then. Means you've got the puck.
Especially when your power play can't score either.
That's the thing. We talked about the power play in the last 5 games. 1 for 16. And not getting great looks with the puck. So certainly concerning for Coach Michel Therrien.
Montreal does not have a power play in this game. We thought they were going to get one in the second period. It was a somewhat confusing sequence where Plekanec had 4 minutes of penalties and 2 minors to the Calgary Flames, but no power play awarded at all to either side. Pacioretty keeps it in there for the Canadiens.
Based on the penalty minutes that are given out, my understanding.
Here's Desharnais with some room, tries to step in, still with it on his backhand. Can't get it in there. Schmid is down, blocking everything in front of that Calgary net. Now they move it back to Georges. Wise fires, and that misses. The net goes off of the inboard. Subban jumps up on that loose puck. Curls around, tries to cut in. Subban still with a puck on his stick, stops up, takes a look, he's still got it. Here's PK. Look at that puck back and forth. Now he drops it off for Pacioretty. Comes near side for Gallagher. Georges drifts it towards the net. That went off the stick of Camilleri. Subban has it roll away from him, and he has to retreat to center. He's at the end of a shift. Everybody was changing, so he'll peel back after getting it deep. Just over 6 minutes into the third period. René Bourque, the lone goal scorer from Prust and Eller in the second period at 16-15. That's all we got so far. Here's Dale Weiss up to Ryan White. White moves in, shoots right out there with a stop, and the rebound is cleared. Out to Kevin Westgard, who shovels a backhander just into the reach of Brody. McGrath was applying some forecheck pressure, but Montreal gets it out. Here's Brody again. Gets it up to TJ Gagliardi. Gagliardi to Hudler. Hudler finds Giordano. That was a dangerous looking pass, but it hopped off his stick and he couldn't get a shot away. Now here's Brody along the side boards for Backlund. Across. Giordano, one touch. Backlund, a shot blocked in front by Ryan Gionta. Another crucial shot block. Montreal's got a few of them tonight.
Terrific play by Gionta to block that shot. And you look at this play here. Brandon Prust creates this block shot, and then Carey Price with a couple terrific looks and great save. And then we're going to see René Bourque on the back door through the seam as Stepniak's waiting for that one-timer, potential scoring threat. Bourque breaks that up and throws it up into the neutral zone. But it all starts with Brandon Prust paying a price on that shot block. They end up getting a couple chances. Carey Price with a couple nice saves, and then René Bourque finishes it off with a good defensive awareness play.
And a 1-0 game, and an icing call there. Michel Therrien not taking any chances. He has called a timeout for this face-off that will be to the right of Price.
Allow them to get their legs underneath them. You can see when you ice the puck, guys are a little bit tired. Allow them to regroup a little bit and just get their minds back. Sometimes the legs will be there, but it's just about resetting. Everyone getting on the same page. And you talk about it over at the boards. Murray will come up and talk to Ryan White. These guys have the ability to settle things down. The focus now is to try and win that job, relieve pressure, and get a wholesale change. That's where your experience comes into play. Guys like Douglas Murray have to be a catalyst out there, help settle things down.
Backlund will take the draw for Calgary. Ryan White is out there to take this defensive zone draw for Montreal. And it's won cleanly by Backlund. Gets it back for Russell. His shot reaches the net, and Price called upon to make another quick save. Take another quick break. Montreal hanging on to a 1-goal lead at the Bell Center tonight. Welcome back. There is 25-year-old Dale Weiss making his Montreal debut tonight. Here is Jessica Rusnak.
To say that Dale Weiss is excited about being a member of the Montreal Canadiens would be an understatement. I think he used that word about 15 times this morning when he was speaking to the Montreal media. He is a Winnipeg boy, but he grew up a huge Canadiens fan. He said that yesterday was the best day of his father's life when he heard about the trade. He is familiar with some of the Habs players, one in particular, his line mate tonight, Ryan White. They're both Manitoba boys, and they've known each other since about the age of 10.
Former draft pick of the Rangers, Jessica, back in 2008, claimed on waivers by the Vancouver Canucks. He had previous experience playing for John Tortorella, and now he actually was asked about his relationship with Tortorella. They said, you know what, we heard that you didn't get along with Torts. And he says, well, you know, you tell me, how many guys get along with Torts? And that's all he would say on the subject.
Fair enough. Don't have to love your coach, you have to respect him.
That's what Tortorella would say as well, I think. By the way, Tortorella not having fun right now. Vancouver lost again tonight in Boston. There's a shot by Gianta. 3-1 was the final. Vancouver having trouble scoring goals as they come into Montreal on Thursday. Here's Montreal backing up. There was Briere, pulled the trigger and fired it over the net. Lee Stempniak down the right side. Stempniak working against Markov, and Markov easily shuts that down. Banked off the boards by Briere to center. Here's the captain, Giordano. Feathers that one into the near corner. And back outside the line. Joe Colborne got it back to Giordano. Giordano tries to walk around Yellen, was having none of that. He broke it up. Here's Camilleri. Trying to match Rennie Bourque goal for goal tonight. Wouldn't that be something?
Would be great. Rennie Bourque, you know, pressure off of him scoring that big goal. We'll see if he can gain some momentum off of it.
While we have a stoppage, let's update you on our Canadians on TSN schedule upcoming. We will have that game for you Thursday night against the Vancouver Canucks, and then right out of the Olympic break, we'll be in Pittsburgh as the Canadians are taking on Crosby and company, and then we're headed out west. LA, Anaheim, and Phoenix. And that is right around trade deadline, which is on the 5th of March. It'll be an interesting time to be around the team. Trade deadline comes a little earlier in the day out there.
You're not seeing a lot of movement right now because people don't want to pick up salary before that Olympic break. You're going to have to pay a guy through it.
True, but then they'll have to consummate a deal quickly after the Olympic break.
Yes. A flurry of action afterwards.
Prust tried to reset with Subban, but the pass was out of his reach. Lance Bomo was on him, but he makes a move around him and stays it, and Subban's away to center. Nice pass up ahead there to Eller. Off his stick, he races in after it. Eller to Prust. Prust up top, Bourque shoots! Oh, the save! Loose puck. Oh, Bourque almost had his second of the night. What a setup. This line's been good. Here's Prust again. Back out for Eller. Try to chop it towards the net. Wideman was there. And Calgary's back to center. Here's Russell, the defenseman, stepping up in the play around Yebelin, who stays with him. And Yebelin pushes up the boards, but Calgary pulls it off. Look out, there's a shot there from Stempniak. Just missed. Hudler, deep in the corner. Looks for the lead man. It's Giordano. His shot hits a body in front. Rebound, sends it right across the goal mouth, off the boards, and out and down the ice.
One play, Giordano tries to fire it hard through the crease and see if he can hit a leg. Lars Eller, smart play, sees that coming, gets out of the way.
Crafty little play.
Crafty play. You throw it towards the net. Good things happen. Coaches tell that all the time, and they harp on it in the dressing room.
Sent back in there. Camilleri trying to wrestle his way around Douglas Murray. How many guys are going to out-wrestle him? To center. Broken up. Here's Darren Amalos, puck on the reset of the backhand for Nathan Beaulieu. Down the ice, tapped in there by Pacioretty. Ladislav Schmid back to get it. Schmid, who will play for the Czech Republic in Sochi. His father won a bronze medal for Czechoslovakia back in the 60s.
I liked him as a player. As I said, I was shocked that Edmonton parted with him.
We'll take another quick break. Exactly 9 minutes to go in the third period. 1-0.
Talk about the importance of a puck-handling defenseman. PK Subban cuts the net here. Little shake and bake on Matt Stajan, and then headmans the puck up to Eller. And that play all creates this scoring chance for Rennie Bourque, who gets a good look and a nice play by Brandon Prust. But the importance of a guy like PK Subban, can cut that net and really make an offensive play, get on his horse. That's what makes him special, Subban. And when you talk about his detractors, guys who, in his defensive zone sometimes, but a special play like that creates an offensive chance. And Rennie Bourque almost gets his second of the game.
9 minutes to go. Montreal has picked up points in 3 of their last 4 games, trying to steer this one home against the Flames. Berra out of his net. Better get back in there as he's giving it up to Pacioretty. Pacioretty was erased from that play along the sideboards by the defenseman Butler, but they can't get it out. Chopping at it, finally squirts free to Matt Stajan. Matt Stajan, who came to the Flames in that deal that sent Dion Phaneuf to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Centers it out in front. Backhander by Jones. Tapped out save made by Price. On a blind backhander by Jones that reached the net.
Terrific save by Carey Price. Paddled down. He knows the only option is backhand by Jones. Takes away that lower part of the net and fights it off.
Jones, one of the players singled out by Bob Hartley prior to the game, and Alex Kurtzman really stepping up his game. He went right there to number 54. He needs somebody to step up here in Montreal. Boy, he'd love to get a win here. Here's White. Resets back to Yellen, goes across to his partner Markov, and now heads north. On his backhand, puts it in there. Perra just left it there, and it comes to the far post for Yellen. Yellen drops it back for Weiss. Into the corner for Bonival. Bonival across to Markov with some time to look around. Up on the high slot. Bonival trying to get a one-timer away, but it's skated away by Backlund. Backlund picked up speed as he enters the zone. Can't get it to go in front of the net. And it's pushed back to Brody. They turn it over, and here's White. Hard off the boards and down the ice, where this will be icing against Montreal. 7:09 to go, and it's coming back down into Price's territory.
Carey Price has been very strong. Hasn't been tested a ton here, but good window work from behind the net. You can see his stick gets caught up with PK Subban coming across the crease, and he gets turned a little bit. Right there, you can see the left shin pad of PK Subban, and Price had to paddle down. The knob and the shaft of his stick get caught, and he gets turned a bit, but he fights that save on.
24 saves so far, Jamie.
Been solid.
This Calgary team, during their 5-game win streak, they're not a high-scoring unit, but they've been lighting the lamp. Here's Russell with a wrist shot. Misses the mark. Off of the end boards. Here's Wideman trying to step up. Couldn't get around White. White can't get it outside the line. Now Monahan tries to keep it in and does. They've got this fourth line for the Canadians trapped right now. After the icing call, they were left out there, and Therrien could not take a timeout. He's already used it. Now Weiss along the sideboards. Russell again walks the line in the middle, gives it up to Monahan. His wrist shot. Look at this tired legs for Montreal. Let's center it out in front. Backhander by Colborne, just missed. Camilleri on the loose puck. Calgary smells blood in the water here. Here's Wideman now. At the top of the circle, centers it. Colborne goes back to Russell. Russell down low to the corner for Camilleri. Oh, and it comes out off the stick of Russell. That's exactly what the Montreal Canadiens needed. And now they'll take that to an offside call. And they're able to get some tired legs off the ice just in time. Well, Thursday we continue to bring you Habs Regional Hockey as the Canadians are at home here at the Bell Center against the Vancouver Canucks. Live coverage gets underway 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Atlantic on TSN. This one drifts down the ice. Back to get it is Giordano. Toronto native, played his junior in Owen Sound. Here comes Brody now. Brody stops up, looking for some late help still with the puck goes down low instead. Then he's going to get this puck back, but that pass was too soft out of the corner by Stajan, and it's going to end up going down the ice, but it will be icing against Montreal.
Montreal Canadiens did a terrific job on that rush by Brody, collapsing in front of the net. Now there's no lane to get to the front of the net if you're a Calgary Flame. You've got all 5 guys trying to get back there. Takeaway seams. That's good, strong positioning, because now you allow everything on the outside, and then the puck ends up coming out. There's no threat whatsoever there because it's good defensive posture.
Brody with a wrist shot into traffic. Those are always dangerous. Beaulieu battles for that puck in the corner. Gianta's in there as well, but it's pulled off the boards there by Calgary. Backlund with a quick drive, and Price again with a sharp stop on the sniper, Michael Backlund. 26 shots on Price and 26 saves. It's 1-0 at the Bell Center. Back at the Bell Center for what's been a pretty physical game.
The sign of a team that's engaged is a team that is physical all over the ice. And it's not just one or two players. It's the players that you don't see it out of every night. Rennie Bourque. You know, Yemelin brings it, PK Subban brings it, but when you look at everyone trying to a man to be physical, to finish your checks, it's called an investment later in the game, and they've worn the Calgary Flames down, trying to beat them almost at their own game.
Elton John's in here tomorrow night, so no tiny dancers in here this evening, right?
No. Even the smaller stature players, they play a lot bigger, and we know the Gallaghers. This guy plays like he's 6'8".
That shot off a stick and up another play. Off the blade there of Mark Giordano.
One thing that Carey Price has done so well in this game is he's taken his position, and I've talked about it before. Pucks hit him, and then he just corrals the rebound. He makes it look very easy, and that comes from a strong technical base of just being in the right position and letting the puck hit you.
Subban puts it up the boards, and Gallagher battles hard to get it down there, and this one rolls back down in behind Reto Berra. Berra is headed to the Olympics as one of the net miners for Sean Simpson. Canadian Sean Simpson is the Smiths national coach. Gallagher, Pacioretty almost got a shot away, but he was tied up just enough by Giordano. Stepniak, hard backhand pass to the far side, looking for Backlund. Backlund keeps the play alive, puts it in the middle of the ice, but Gallagher got it free.
Looks like Backlund got his hands up a little bit on Gallagher, no call.
And Gallagher's telling him all about it right now as both players head to the benches. Imagine that, Gallagher engaged in a heated conversation. Oh, here's a turnover. Eller moves in, shoots, and Berra got his blocker on that. Bourque to the corner, but Calgary's got the puck. Here's Camilleri, flips that one up for Joe Colborne. Couldn't handle the pass, and Bourque can't keep it inside the line as Eller was a step late getting out of there, so it's going to be offside.
Well, Backlund and Gallagher. Backlund's been involved all game long, but you see, gives him a little forearm shiver in the head. Gallagher not happy about it, chirping him on the way to the bench. Backlund has something to say to him as he jumps into the bench, but those are they're a gray area non-call or potential call. Gallagher hasn't gotten a lot of those lately.
A lot of discussion about that this week here in Montreal, about whether or not he's having to go through that period of getting the respect of officials around the league just because he's always kind of in everybody's grill.
He's involved in it, and sometimes a ref will defer to thinking, am I getting pulled into one here? Is he capable of going down soft?
Centering attempt there by Jones, picked off and turned back by the Canadians. Here's Plekanec with it. Plekanec to Briere, right on, and Berra square to the shot, comes across and makes the save on Daniel Briere.
Little turnover in the offensive zone for the Calgary Flames. Plekanec puts it on a tee for Briere, who gets very good wood or graphite on it. Reto Berra gets a good push across and hits it. He's square to the puck. It hits him right in the C, but Daniel Briere opens up. Plekanec puts it on a tee. Pretty good offensive chance off a turnover for the Calgary Flames in the Canadian zone.
Briere, there you see, 3 points in his last 3 games, including a couple of goals that's got him up to 295. Getting very close to that 300 goal mark.
Briere is a quality player. Certainly there's lots of talk about what he's been doing or lack of production with the Montreal Canadiens this year, but you know, I've always played with skill guys, and when you look at the skill guys, they're very streaky, and it's all about confidence. And Briere seems to be getting a little bit more bite in his game, a little bit more confident, and when you get good looks with the puck, still have the ability to make a team pay. So you hope that he continues this trend as he head into the break.
Face-off control by the Flames. There's a shot by Russell that hit a body and drifted over the net. Now to the corner is Jiri Hudler. He can't center it. Knocked down by White, but turned over. Here's Backlund again. Backlund back to the line for Russell. Winds, slap pass, looking for a tip in front. Almost got it. Stepniak, first to the loose puck. Can't keep it in for long as he's giving it up to PK Subban. And Subban just outside the line. Flips it in with under 3 minutes to go. Montreal trying to snap a 3-game losing streak against Calgary. Here's Monahan, wide side. Tries to center a bouncing puck for Colborne, and he just missed on the far side of the net. These two teams met way back in October, a 3-2 Flames win. Here's Eller. Eller to Prust in front for Pacioretty off his skates and into the corner. Here's Eller again on his backhand. He centers it, gets past everybody and ends up with the Flames. And Camilleri at center. Takes a look far side, banks one up ahead for Colborne. Here's Wideman now. He fires right on. Blocker stopped by Price, and he steers that one into the corner. Monahan, the 19-year-old rookie, up there. Bob Hartley saying without any hesitation, he is our future franchise. John Monahan out there looking for a loose puck, and Price is not going to give him one under 2 minutes to play.
So terrific save by Carey Price here as it comes back to Wideman. Now he walks the line a little bit and he fires it through Eller. Price picks that up as he's in terrific position, but you know, in these waning couple minutes, this is where it's very crucial the Montreal Canadiens find a way to lock it down, because you can almost get that sense that there could be an ugly one, or it hits a skate and goes in as the Flames continue to try and funnel pucks to that front of the net on Carey Price.
Shots are dead even, 26 apiece. And now Barham is gone. He's gone to the bench. Extra attacker is on with 1:43 to go here in the third period. Bob Hartley not waiting at all. Russell keeps that in. Puts it back into the corner where Subban waits for it. Boma's down there, but Subban blocks him off and they chop it outside the line. No, they don't. Giordano's there. So is Stajan. Here's Backlund in tight quarters. Keeps it in. In front. Jones turns and shoots. And Subban just got his stick on that as it sails over the net.
It's a great play here by PK Subban defensively. In front, it comes down, and he's going to take away kind of an option. As you can see, it comes down to David Jones. He gives a little bit of the windmill here and gets his stick on it and deflects over top, but that's just good defensive awareness to try and take away some options as Jones wants to turn and spin and fire it towards the net. Subban takes away time and space on Jones, and no chance towards the net on Carey Price.
Timeout for the Calgary Flames. It's Martin Gelinas draws up the play. You talk about glue guys. In their career, was there anybody more glue and more popular in every locker room he played in than him?
I loved playing with Marty Gelinas. I used to tease him all the time because he could not get out of the way of pucks or sticks. He would get cut every game. It felt like every time I walked into the trainers lounge, or I guess the trainers area.
The trainers got a lounge?
Well, yeah, there's a trainers lounge, but they're a Jellyby getting stitched up. But I'll tell you what, quality person, and even better as a professional, working hard and on and off the ice. He was a great mentor for a lot of guys in that Calgary Flames locker room and scored big goals at the right time.
Let's see what he's drawn up here as Backlund sets to take this draw against Thomas McKenna. Scramble off the draw, they put it in front. Jones on the backhand. Big scramble in front of the net, and it's clear to the sideboards. Prust just floats it down the ice as Calgary comes very close. A race for that one as they avoid the icing call. Good hustle by Montreal to make sure that doesn't happen. Jones swats it in there. 1 minute to go in the game. Georges battles for it down low. Here's Backlund into the corner. They get it back for Giordano. Giordano up high, blocked by Prust, and he sends it back down the ice. And this one is icing. 48 seconds on the clock.
Brandon Prust paying a price. Good intelligent play earlier on just to chip it deep, but you know he's going to have to block this from the point as there's strength in numbers down low for the Calgary Flames. But Prust gets in the lane. Coburn can't get it to the front of the net because Prust with a terrific block and then ices.
Fresh legs out on the ice for Bob Hartley. They lose that face-off, and this one sails down, but it's coming right back. Took 8 seconds, or rather 7 seconds off the clock.
They'll take as much as you want right now. All of those icings to slow things down, try and jar that momentum the Calgary Flames as they continue to try and even this game with 41 seconds, or 41 and change left in the game.
Montreal's last 2 games were 1-goal affairs. They lost them both. They're trying to hang on to this lead here. Markov. It's exactly what they're doing. They're just not worrying about the icing call at all. They're just taking more time off the clock.
I don't know if he's having a slap shot contest back there. He's wiring it around the boards. If you take a half second for yourself, and you know that as a defenseman, it's a clean draw. Now he snaps it around. You can see Prust is a little bit late. This one, he just wires it around. There's no chance that Brandon Prust is going to be able to get to that wall and chip it past pressure.
Bob Hartley put 6 more players back out on the ice. He makes the line change after a brief rest for his top offensive personnel. Here's Plekanec, tries to chip it out and does. 30 seconds to go, and that face-off's coming down in the Calgary zone as there's a penalty call against the Flames. It's going to be a hooking call against Michael Camilleri.
Tries to run a little bit of pick here off the draw. Just a little hook on Plekanec right as he tries to chip it out past Russell. He reaches in. That's a hook, and that's going to obviously come all the way down with 30 seconds left as the Canadians go on the power play. But it's a little play to reach in on the hands on Plekanec and nullifies the extra skater.
What a time for Montreal's first power play of the night. Sent all the way down here. Price stops it. Berra heads to the bench. The extra attacker comes back out so they can get back to 5-on-5. But Montreal controls with 15 seconds to go. Here's Pacioretty with an empty net. Turns, Desharnais scores, and that will do it. Empty net goal for David Desharnais. 2-0, and Montreal's going to win it.
Smart play by Markov to get it over to Subban, but Subban with an even better play as he just relieves pressure. A little alley-oop play. So he knows that Pacioretty is up through the middle. He just lays it into space, almost like a Super Bowl play into the area. And then Pacioretty with a heads-up play to get it to Desharnais, the wide-open net, puts it in to ice the game.
A Super Bowl play if you're talking from Seattle.
Yeah,
not Denver.
Not Denver.
No. So time is going to wind down here on the Calgary Flames 5-game win streak. And Montreal is going to snap a 2-game losing streak. And Carey Price gets another shutout. Fourth shutout of the season for Carey Price. 2-0 is the final.
And Carey Price was a huge storyline for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. You talk about what an elite goaltender can bring to the table. And Dale Weiss coming into the lineup, you can almost see that instant chemistry with Ryan White and Bournival. That was a terrific fourth line that created a lot of momentum for the Canadians in the offensive zone that generated some chances.
Second shutout in the last 4 games for Price. His 4th of the season. Now ties him for 2nd in the NHL in that category. 1 behind the league leader, Tuukka Rask. We'll take one more quick break and come back with final thoughts after a 2-0 victory for Montreal over the Calgary Flames.